Pine Tree Golf Club was created from what was a cow pasture over a half a century ago in 1961. The founding members purchased the dairy land and had prominent course architect Dick Wilson design the course, which is considered one of his finest creations and has been ranked in the nation's top 100 as well as Florida's top 5. Ben Hogan called Pine Tree the greatest flat course in America, and while the course fairly flat, the raised and angled greens are well defined by the 128 bunkers, highlighted by the famous par 3 13th hole. Many a tour pro has called Pine Tree home, from PGA, LPGA, and World Golf Hall of Fame members like Sam Snead, Tommy Armour, Mickey Wright, Louise Suggs, Joanne Carner, Beth Daniel, Meg Mallon, to most recently the 2019 U.S. Open champion Gary Woodland, combined for 50 major championship victories. Usually, the first hole of a course is a warm handshake. Interesting, but not difficult. Pine Tree's first, virtually unchanged since 1962, is difficult. The opening drive is into a fairway that both narrows and is guarded by a quintet of bunkers, 3 of them on the left side, right at the turn of the slight dogleg. The approach shot is equally daunting. 4 more bunkers surround the green, which slopes away to the left and is elevated, turning any missed approach into a problem. The second isn't an overly long par 3 by any means, but it is heavily bunkered, with 5 sandpits waiting for an errant shot. The handicap chart puts the third hole in the middle of the pack, but a narrow landing area makes this par 4 a real challenge. A small bunker on the left side of the fairway helps players stay in bounds, but also aims them towards a pair of bunkers on the right side that can play havoc. The approach is to a well-bunkered green, rather steep drop-off behind it. Take a 4 and go quietly to the next tee. The fourth hole plays tougher than its length implies, largely because of its bunkering, with 8 bunkers altogether, 5 in the landing area, and 3 more in the green. The putting surface is angled from right to back left, favoring a draw for a right-handed player. The fifth hole is a par 5, so feel free to fire away, as there's no bunkers in your landing area. However, your second shot must be played with great skill, or one of these 5 bunkers will gobble up your shot. A well-played second shot will be rewarded with a short iron to the green. The green itself is protected by 3 bunkers, with just enough room to run up your shot. The Runway Tee covers more than half the length of this hole, so pick your tee carefully. The water on the par 3 6 is merely decorative. The problem here is the elevated kidney-shaped green and the quartet of bunkers guarding it. This All-American hole is a temptress. A wise player will aim for the 2 bunkers on the left of the fairway, but doing so will leave you a longer second shot. A few yards can be saved by playing down the right side of the fairway, but for the distance of the fairway, a lake looms. The 8th plays into a prevailing southwest wind, which can complicate matters, for calm days at Pine Tree are rare. A big drive avoiding the quartet of bunkers on the left can set up a short iron to a well-bunkered green. As always, the green is anything but flat. Clearing the bunker in the middle of the fairway, one of 5 placed there, is a must for anyone chasing par, much less a birdie. A smart second shot should be placed just short of those 3 bunkers, leaving a reasonably easy pitch shot. For the bold, the green is guarded by 4 bunkers, plus a pond that circles behind the green. A hole revised and then changed back, today players have a choice of tees and trebles. Play from the right, and there's a straightforward tee shot that must avoid a pair of bunkers on the left. Duffers will worry about the water. At the end of the hole, 3 bunkers around the sloping green force players to be perfect or lay up. By now, it's clear there are no soft holes at Pine Tree. The 11th is a daunting par 3, in part because of its length, and in part because of the sloping green, which falls off front left. The middle of the green is an oasis. The big change on this since 1962? No more cows on the perimeter. Many consider this Pine Tree's signature hole, because most of the time it features the pine tree, the symbol of the club. The only bunker-free fairway on the course features a pond that springs from a canal crossing the fairway. A bulge in the pond comes within a few yards of the green, which is also guarded by 4 adjacent bunkers. This classic par 3 is the shortest on the course, but length means nothing here. This 13th hole has a massive bunker, 6 islands within. This par 4 14th hole is a classic cape hole. Miss these 4 bunkers guarding the green, and there's a chance for par. Once the tee shot is in the fairway, rather than the pond to the left or to 3 bunkers on the right, the approach is the problem. The shortest par 4, on the inward 9, features the most creative greenside bunkering on the course. 5 bunkers, 3 in front and 2 behind, make the approach shot a gamble, especially if the prevailing southeast wind is in play. At just over a third of a mile from the back tee plate, the 16th hole is a marathon. The drive is to a relatively narrow landing area, guarded by 3 bunkers. Just as on the 13th hole, the green slants away to the back right. The penultimate hole opens with a relatively docile shot. The approach is to an elevated green with 3 bunkers standing in the way. The putting surface emulates a potato chip, rolling off to the left and to the front right. This par 4 18th hole tee shot must be placed between or beyond a cluster of bunkers, 1 on the right and a quartet strung like pearls along the preferred left side. Your second shot must carry the last of the water hazards and avoid a deep greenside bunker that makes any cup placement on the right side a difficult problem. There's a bailout area on the front and left of the green, but after the first 17 holes, who's in any kind of mood to bail out?